Finally, what I like to address is the tragic reality of the Islamic Republic in Iran's support for Hamas, a terrorist organization that has brought nothing but misery to the Palestinian people. Islamic Republic's backing of Hamas is not an act of solidarity with the Palestinian cause. It's a cynical strategy to destabilize the region and further its own geopolitical interest. Hamas has consistently shown that it prioritizes its own power and ideology over the well being of the Palestinian people. Instead of working towards peace and the establishment of a viable Palestinian state, a viable Palestinian state means one that Israel feels comfortable and safe with. Hamas engages in acts of terrorism, provides Israeli retaliation, provokes Israeli retaliation, leading to the suffering of innocent civilians on both sides. People remind me, how could you talk like this and watch, innocent civilians, non-combatants getting killed? And I say, how can you talk about this tragedy without pointing to whose responsibility it is? It's the responsibility of Hamas and Palestinians who started it, and they must be stopped forever. So don't tell me moderate your response. If I'm Israel, I have to do what I need to do to protect Israelis. That's the most important thing. Don't tell me to moderate it. Go tell Hamas not to use civilians as shields underneath hospitals and other facilities. So by supporting Hamas, I differentiate between Iran, thousands of years old history with Islamic Republic, a delinquent criminal juvenile 45-year-old. So it's Islamic Republic in Iran that's perpetuating the cycle of violence and ensuring that the Palestinian people remain trapped in a state of conflict and despair. This support is not just a crime against Israel, it's a crime against the Palestinian people. It's a betrayal of their legitimate aspirations for statehood, peace, and prosperity. Instead of empowering the Palestinians to build a better future, the Islamic Republic empowers those who lead them into endless war. In conclusion, I like to say anti-Semitism is a cancer that must be eradicated from our world, not just for the sake of the Jewish people, but for the sake of all humanity. Israel, like any other nation, has the right to defend itself against those who seek to destroy it. Finally, the Islamic Republic support for Hamas is a crime, not only against Israel, but against the Palestinian people themselves. I'm so happy to see that our thousands of years of relationship is thriving, it's growing. People in Israel are talking to people in Iran. They look to a shared prosperity in the future. And we couldn't have asked for a better alignment of interest at this time. In the United States, the socialists, those who wanted to destroy everything to build something, lost. And we do have a hope that America will be great again. What is a great America? A great America is the America that sends aid even to its enemies in the times of disasters. Exceptional. Nobody else does that. We're going to go back to an America that places American interests first. Why? Because if America is strong, then we can stand up to injustice. We can go to the aid of all those who call for not just sympathy, but action to get back their stolen freedoms. And my brothers and sisters, I believe we are looking at a very near future to be able to hand in hand combat and defeat this monster called the Islamic Republic in Iran. I'd really like to hear from you questions on your mind about maybe a little bit of taking a dive into the politics in the United States, taking a dive into politics in Israel, and really talking about what's ahead of us. How can we work closer to each other? How can we learn from each other? You know, in the beginning of this contact, thanks to Tom and Dr. Dana and others, I was shocked to learn that in Israel, there are people who believe that there are Iranians who genuinely support the tyranny of Islamic Republic. That is not true. That is not true. The Islamic Republic's own Ministry of Guidance recently conducted a survey, asked the question, you know, do you want the Islamic Republic? And according to them, they published the survey result. They said 73% of respondents said they don't want the Islamic Republic. So I had an opportunity to talk to someone who had left Iran, and he was part of the system, and I talked to him, you know, very honestly, asked him a question, and I said, is it true that the Islamic Guidance Ministry has conducted this survey, and people, 73% of the respondents said they don't want the Islamic Republic? Is it true? He said it's partly true, partly not accurate. I said, oh, tell me, which part is true? He said they conducted the survey. That is true. I said, and the 73%? He said it's not 73%, it's 93%. And the reason people hesitated in questioning, in responding to the questions, because they know they're getting a call from the government. So they're very cautious. They didn't really, all of them, answer the question as they really felt. But even if it was 73%, how can the government continue its legitimacy? So I like to stop here and listen to some of the questions. Hopefully we'll have a conversation. I like to listen to you and learn. And thank you again for inviting me to be with you. I'm looking forward to returning to Israel. And I hope I get a chance to be with you in person and get to know all of you. Thank you again, Tom and friends, for arranging this. And let me hear some questions.
Thank you, Bijan. So first of all, before I will give the opportunity to ask, allow me to ask you a main question. Because speaking to you today is a double opportunity for people on this lecture. First opportunity is, let's call it your hat as a informal speaker behalf of the Trump administration or behalf of the USA. And the other is as a very formal speaker on behalf of the Institute of Voices of Liberty, which is an effort by the Iranian opposition to lead to regime change in Iran. So I would ask you to clarify and elaborate more about the work that you're doing in your institute. That is something that Israelis have no idea about the activities of the Iranian opposition and the really on-ground attempt to create regime change. And we would like to hear from you about those efforts and how do you evaluate the chances or the future of those efforts.